Hello, welcome in for our week ahead collective card pull, where we tap into the tarot and oracle cards and some other goodies for our collective week ahead guidance. So if you are watching this on my Empowerment Sharecast, you know what we do. If you're seeing this in one of my social media spaces, I am Marissa from Growing the Flow. Welcome in. This is a sample of how we tune in each week to some intuitively selected decks and other goodies here that help to give us guidance, insight, and wisdom for the week ahead. So we're going to get started here in a moment, but I am so excited to introduce to you, or perhaps reintroduce if you remember last year when we featured this amazing deck for an entire month. It is back. This is Odin's Playbook, a Norse tarot tale by the fabulous Dani'el Norman. I adore her and all of her decks and all of her work, and this is absolutely one of my favorites, and I think it is so perfect for this month of May, where I have brought through these intuitive words. May we remember. And for those of you with me for the Empowerment Pack this month, we really dove into the play on those words as it pertains to remembering, but also reassembling as we are rebuilding and restabilizing so much in our world and reestablishing anew, that I thought it was really beautiful to take such a look back at an ancient past through the lens of Odin and the Norsemen. So it's just beautiful. I can't wait to show you some really cool things about this deck. Not only will you see runes featured throughout, which we'll highlight as I feel guided, but another neat thing about this deck is the Fool is featured in the background of many of the cards, so that you can see, as moving through the Fool's journey of the tarot, the way that it is woven in. So we'll keep our eye out for that. And very specially, we'll be selecting a rune stone at the end for a bonus message for us this week ahead. And anyone that would like a free personal card pull this week will also receive a rune stone pulled for you. So if you would like to have a personal card pull to expand upon these collective messages, feel free to quick reply here on Marco Polo, or send me a message in any way that works for you. Over in that free space, for those who haven't checked it out yet, that is where we are able to sort of connect, tucked away from the noise of social media, where I'm able to offer to you some special things, including a complimentary card pull for the week ahead. So if you're interested in that, you'll see the link in the caption or in my bio to join me over there, or you can certainly just comment, reply, and I'll get you all set up, because it's free, it's fun. And after we pull these cards, I will be going in there live to bring through the intuitive messages for all of the cards. Now, we're going to get started. Before we get into the tarot messages, I'm going to pull 2 oracle decks this week. We're going to pull from the Flower Therapy. This month, I'm featuring a lot of messages through the flowers, but we also have a new moon in Taurus this week on May 7th, and it is known as the Flower Moon. So I thought it would be appropriate for us to choose another message from the Flower Therapy cards. And then, of course, for the new moon, we will also pull a Queen of the Moon oracle card. This will be the overarching energy that we tune into in the Empowerment New Moon reading. So for anybody who's already with me for the Empowerment Pack this month, of course, we will be tuning in this week for the New Moon reading. Anyone who would like to come along just for the New Moon reading, I'm now offering those a la carte. So you will see information here on how you can book your New Moon Empowerment reading for this week, where we will be diving deeper into this oracle card, as well as a chosen spread and a full part 1 video that I do, which is then followed up with personal card pulls just for you around this new moon, which I'm super excited to get into. We'll touch on that a little bit here today. After we pull these cards, I'll be coming in separately with the energetic weather report for this week, just to touch on some of the astrological aspects. Then we're going to get into these messages for the cards. So let's get started. I'm going to shuffle up here and choose a Flower Therapy card to kind of set us off here for the week with an extra message, and then we'll get into these tarot cards. We got some jumpers here. Flowers popping out everywhere. Let's see, one card, please. Just one flower therapy card. All right, cleanse your energy. All right, will do. I'm going to do that for a sec because it's feeling kind of jumpy. I'm going to bring in the white sage just to bring in a little cleansing and clearing here. It's quite a rainy day here, actually, so it's been pretty gray and the energy's a little low. So let me just tune in here for a flower card. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Balanced friendships, 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓾 African daisies. Your friendships work best when there's an equal share of giving and receiving. Beautiful, and a reminder that in fact I do have one of the rune stones out already. This is 𝓙𝓸𝓲𝓽𝓾 or 𝓙𝓙𝓸𝓲𝓷, which is the rune for giving and receiving and reciprocity. So beautiful reminder there about how we're being continually invited to take a look at that balancing of the scales and recalibrating of the scales when it comes to giving and receiving and bringing more balance in. So let's go ahead and start shuffling up for our week ahead, and then I will pull our new moon card at the end. So Monday is the card that represents kicking off the week, sort of setting the tone for the week ahead. I'm excited to have a new deck. We know we had so many recurring energies in our April deck, the Spring Weight Tarot, which was so fun. Super curious to see if anything follows us here or if we're starting fresh in May with clarity to sort of settle into all that had been churned up throughout April's powerful energy. So let's see what is coming in here for this first full week of May. New moon on the horizon. What's coming in for Monday? Beautiful, the Chieftain of Staves. So that's going to be the Queen of Wands. I love her. And it's so funny with this amazing altar mat. Every time I was pulling a card with the sunflower in the Empowerment Pack readings, I pointed out this connection. Sunflower, you are adored. So we will tune in here to see what the Queen of Wands, Chieftain of Staves, and the Raven have to say about this week. Fiery. Okay, we'll feel into that magic. I always say she's the witch of the tarot. Tuesday represents a potential blocker challenge for this week. So what do we need to know about any potential blocker challenge this week? Two of Axes, Two of Swords. Yeah, okay, choice point, duality. This is the new moon day. So we've got new moon in Taurus coming in here with Two of Axes. And I think I spot a fool. I see a fool out there. So yeah, we'll dive into that when we're feeling into the potential blocker challenge this week. All right, Wednesday. Wednesday is our midweek blessing. So what do we have coming in here this midweek? Okay, we'll take it, jumpy cards. The Shield Maiden of Staves. So now this is going to be the Knight of Wands. So wow, okay, so double fire there with these two powerful energies. So we're going to feel into that. We've got that coming in here as well. Queen and Knight. Wands, okay. Thursday represents how we are growing. How we are growing. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Ace of Horns, Ace of Cups. That is gorgeous. What a wonderful way to grow, right? This is a beautiful card of wonderful blessings and abundance coming in here in the feels, in the heart chakra, and a cup overflowing. So really feeling that there's some creativity being awakened here, and there's this choice point though. So we get to choose. So I'm really feeling this energy coming in as you decide about that cup and the blessings that it contains. But it's definitely being offered to you. So there's a choice here about taking that blessing and creating something really beautiful from it. Wow. And then Friday is going to wrap up the week. So we'll see our final tarot card for the spread. Then we'll pull our Queen of the Moon, and we will be rolling into our messages over on the Empowerment Sharecast. Okay. So Friday, 9 of Horns, 9 of Cups. Wow. This is beautiful. And I'm feeling a theme, like, because one of the things I saw there is the rune that's here on this shield maiden of staves is Mehwaz, which is trust, partnership, loyalty, and the horse, which the horse is a totem that's been coming up quite a lot. In fact, I was just reminded that when I tapped in for the year ahead energies, the horse was the spirit animal of the year as a symbol of freedom. And there's this expansive energy that's coming in with all of the Jupiter activity that we're moving through and experiencing and looking forward to this month with some really amazing energies coming in. And this is also giving me this nod towards this balanced friendships, partnerships, the people, the tribe, those who are in our orbits that we are connecting with in new and creative ways. And there's a lot of blessings to behold through that. So I'm just seeing a continual nod here to friendships, relationships, partnerships, choices, creativity, and blessings. So that is really beautiful. Let's finish it off with our Queen of the Moon from Stacey DeMarco. We love to tap into this deck for some guidance around each lunation. So this card I'm pulling now, we're going to have a collective message here, and then I will be including this in the Empowerment New Moon reading that I'll be doing this week for anyone that would like to come along. We'll be going much deeper into working with the new moon this month. New moon in Taurus is really beautiful for setting into motion a lot of the things that had come up throughout April in terms of the seeds that have been planted and what we are going to be manifesting into the future, with the potential for some real luck and karmic destiny of things that are coming into fruition in these energies that are available. So let's see which Queen of the Moon Oracle card is coming forward to support us with the new moon this week. One card, please. This is my card. I have shared with many of you, this is the actual card that inspired Grow in the Flow and gave me the guts to put my anonymous Instagram page out there. And I'm noticing so many things about this card, but first of all, it's a 5, and it must be said, I'm coming in here on Sunday, 5/5, the 5/5 portal, Cinco de Mayo, to share these messages with you and the power of the number 5. So I shared today a previous tarot tutorial I did featuring the 5s of the tarot. So if you want to check that out, you will see it on Marco Polo. It's just a couple of polos over the link to the YouTube video that I reshared today. If you're seeing this on one of my social media places, I also shared the link to the video. It's a 20-minute video that runs through the 5 5s of the tarot. So I'm really feeling this connection to the symbolism of the number 5, which of course is all about change, transformation, and this transition that we are in right now, which this growth card is so beautiful because it has this mantra that was like is the springboard into me stepping out of the safety of this nest, which was be courageous, you will blossom. So I love this coming up for the flower moon with all of this energy of what is blooming and blossoming in our lives and how we can be as diverse as all of these different flowers when it comes to our unique gifts and the magic that we have to bring with all this wands and fire and this water with this heart chakra opening. There's so much goodness here. I can't wait to dive in here. Okay, let's leave it here for this part. And as I said, if you would like a personal card pull this week over on Marco Polo, you can let me know. And I will be going through and pulling personal cards for you this week. Oh, we almost forgot the runes and a rune for you. But let's pull our rune for the week for the collective. So let's see which one wants to come up. And then that way, as we go through these cards and spot the runes on those cards, we'll see if we get any double underlining of the rune that comes up here from this gorgeous set that I was gifted. Okay. Let's see. We have, this one is, I say them wrong, and I love that the book actually has the pronunciation in the back, but it's, I know this one's different than the way it's spelled, 𝓙𝓸𝓲𝓷. Sorry, I'm not that familiar with runes, and so this is a fun way, really working with this deck and this awesome guide for some messages. So we're going to get into this, but I'm just looking so I can pronounce it right before I go. Oh, 𝓙𝓸𝓲𝓘𝓚. Oh my gosh. Yeah, somebody got this, and I was like, I feel like I'm saying it like Radio Gaga. I was like, 𝓙𝓸𝓲𝓘𝓚. 𝓙𝓸𝓲 is how you pronounce it. So we will talk about this rune of movement when we get into our messages this week. So stay tuned. We are rolling in next with some energetic weather for this week. All right, guys, let's check it out. All right, let's kick things off by just tuning in quickly for some energetic weather this week. There's actually just really one thing here to point out, which is, of course, this new moon in Taurus happening on May 7th. So that is coming, depending on where you are in the world. We're looking at Tuesday, May 7th for the Taurus new moon. This new lunar cycle begins and officially moves us out of eclipse season. Now, Mercury is also expected to leave its shadow phase here coming up. So this is really making it a highly clarifying new moon. So we may feel a powerful surge of fresh energy flowing our way and the clarity that is needed to put this fresh energy to use. I like it. And I love that we have some of the water energy on the altar this week with the cups or horns as they are in this deck, which is really bringing in this clarifying, cleansing vibe to bring in some fresh energy here. It's a good time to be reflecting on what it is we truly wish to spend our time on and what we truly value. This is something that came up when Mila and I got together for Stars and Cards last week, and I shared that here several polos over. You'll see the link to the Stars and Cards episode, or we have a playlist over on my YouTube channel where we pulled a set of cards for this incoming new moon. And one of the cards we got, Find Balance, the Two of Pentacles, brought forward a message that was really about getting clarity between what is it that I value? What do I truly value? And how am I spending my time, my energy? What am I investing in from my spiritual bank account? And does that line up with what it is that I truly value? Because if it doesn't, then we're becoming aware of, places where we can make some changes and adjustments. If it does, then we're really encouraged to really put our energy into those things, really dedicate the energy to those things we truly value. So, overall, this is a very stabilizing new moon, and yet we do still have some wild card energy coming in from Uranus, because last month we celebrated the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which is a once in 14-year cycle. And from that, perhaps something surprising or unexpected may have come our way. I know we've been talking about that. We were tracking that from April into now, where we've had these sort of unexpected things or upheaval or things that are coming out that now we're reflecting upon and seeing that, well, perhaps these things have brought up for us a need to expand our horizons or to leap from our comfort zones. So this new moon here may be amplifying those decisions or the energy that had been brewing in those last few weeks of April. So again, this is something I will be diving much deeper into in the Empowerment New Moon reading. That is something that's available if you want to come along a la carte. It's actually just $22, and it is a 2-part reading that you receive. So if you're already with me for the empowerment pack, it is all a part of that package. But if you would just like some guidance around the new moon, you can join us just for that reading. And we will have a full-length recorded part 1 video that will get all into the astrological aspects that are coming in with this lunation. I will have selected a special spread and decks that we'll be pulling from to bring through messages. Also some healing elements on the altar, sprays, crystals, and other intuitively selected items. Then part 2 is your personal card pulls. So it really is a wonderful way for you to connect in with the phases and cycles throughout the month. And this one is a really beautiful one to get in touch with, especially if you had, a particularly eventful April. So if you moved through a lot of things in April and this is resonating for you in terms of like unexpected, surprising things that came your way, or really feeling that push or shove to expand your horizons or leap from your comfort zone, this could be a great moon for you to tune in for some personal guidance. So let me know if you're interested in that. I will be sharing as well at the end here a link for booking if you want to get in on that, because we're going to be jumping into that right at the top of the week. Okay, well, let's take it from here. We're going to go ahead and start things off with our cards with our flower therapy message. Let's take a look. Okay, our flower therapy card coming in here as balanced friendships, the 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 African daisy. So we have these beautiful, colorful flowers coming in about friendships, saying your friendships work best when there's an equal share of giving and receiving. This card asks you to look at your current relationships and be honest with yourself. Are they nurturing or are they draining and tiring? True friends are those you can call upon at any moment for support. They drop everything and come to your aid, and you do just the same for them. As a sensitive being, you have a desire to help others. However, people may take advantage of your generous nature by asking for too much. Ensure that there is an equal give and take. An unhealthy and unbalanced friendship will only bring you exhaustion. This card is a sign that it's time to let go of any unbalanced relationships and move into new, mutually giving ones. Any additional meanings here with this card could be spending time with your good friends, you're attracting new friendships, your relationships are becoming more balanced. And like I said during the card pull, I do feel this is quite aligned with a lot of the messages and guidance that we've been getting because, this is a time of sort of, recalibrating, reconciling imbalances in our life where we may be becoming acutely aware of places where things are out of alignment. Like when we talk about stuff that is becoming surprisingly or unexpectedly sort of coming into our awareness, it's like we can't look away now. It's an undeniable awareness that comes in where we are starting to really acknowledge perhaps those things in our life that are out of balance or not fulfilling or serving in some way. And of course, this includes our relationships and, having an awareness of where things are in terms of giving and receiving. And I love, again, the flowers and the garden analogies that are coming in here and the symbolism because, our garden of our friendships and the people that are in our spiritual garden can be as diverse and different as all the flowers in the field, so there's this energy of recognizing that within our garden, different flowers, right? Different friendships, different relationships, different aspects of our life have different needs, and if you think of it in terms of flowers or plants that need more or less sun or water and care and nurturing, or, thrive more when they're planted near something or not when they are next to something else, or certain pests, like there's different ways that we tend to each of those flowers in our garden, those plants, the friendships, the relationships. And, anytime we're talking about balance, we're not necessarily talking about 50-50 because truly no relationship is ever 100% 50-50 all the time. We all give and contribute in different ways. It's about feeling the energetic balance between those two things, which doesn't necessarily compute into a perfect 50-50. So it's like, sort of maybe reestablishing what our sense of what it is to be a balanced friendship, in a balanced friendship, and how that feels or how that doesn't feel. And like I said, we may be noticing some real acute awareness in those areas where, again, in order for us to plant the new and to welcome in new growth into our spiritual garden, it is necessary to weed out, right? To turn over the soil, to remove, the dead, waste and the things that have turned over in the garden that are ready to be cleared. So this can be things like, sorting through friends lists on social media, or things that we're following or contributing our energy to and such, that could be coming up as an opportunity for us to really clear out and tend to our spiritual garden. So just a big old spiritual breadcrumb coming in here, starting us off with this notion of the balanced friendships from the 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 daisies. Let's go ahead and get started with our Odin's Playbook Tarot. I can't wait to share this deck with you. Let's take a look. All right, we are kicking off our week ahead messages with this beautiful chieftain of staves. So in this deck, brilliantly, our court cards are renamed with some different references that help to give us whole new perspectives on ways that we can relate and connect to these court cards. So the pages are known as the poets. The knights are the shield maidens. We have one coming up. The queens are the chieftains. So this is where we might see that presented as male or female, but it's holding the energy of either feminine or masculine energy. And then we have the kings, known as the rulers, where we'll see both men or women in this role, but they hold the energy of either feminine or masculine energy. So each ruler will have a crown on for easier distinction. So we'll have that little indicator that it is traditionally a king, which I like to think of as the absolute embodiment of a suit, coming through to the fullest expression. Now, the chieftain here, the queen energy, is also like the spirit of that suit. The staves are the wands. So the wands are bringing in fire, creativity, passion. And so I thought I would actually start with this rune so that we can sort of let that follow us through with all of the different cards that come forward. So again, the rune that we chose here from our rune stones is 𝓙𝓸𝓲𝓘. And this is the rune of movement, which is about embarking on a journey, either physically or spiritually. And it gives us a message to be mindful of how we are carrying ourselves. Keep your ego in check. Bring order to the chaos in your life, and be aware of how things can get out of hand in your life if you allow it. What I like about bringing this in now is because this is the fire energy. This is like the Leo energy. So yes, there is this solar plexus ego potential energy, but when we're talking queen, the spirit of the suit, chieftain, we're talking about having that balanced and really being able to wield that as a superpower, taking the best of that essence and making magic with it. And like I said, when I did the card pull, I always think of the Queen of Wands as the witch of the tarot. She makes magic with her familiar, which is often seen as a black cat. Here it is brilliantly a raven. So we have this magical energy here coming in with the raven and the sunflower, which is really bringing in this source of I am, solar plexus, that bravery, courage, that joy, the fiery expression of one's essence. So looking at this as setting the tone for our week, we have this energy coming in about what we're creating and feeling maybe newly inspired or beginning to get some real clarity around what it is that we wish to create. So coming in here as the chieftain of staves, it speaks to, and again, court cards are typically representative of you or someone around you, or it may be an attribute or a way of being that you're best served to embody in a particular situation. So as we set the tone for this week, it could be, recognizing you as a confident and beautiful being, saying you shine bright for others to follow. So there's a leadership aspect to this card as well. Acknowledging that you are extremely appreciative of everything in your life, and so you give back from a heart space full of gratitude. I love that because again, we also have the 𝓘𝓷𝓽𝓮 here, which is like giving and receiving, balanced friendships, balanced relationships with this equal share of giving and receiving. And also from that heart space of gratitude, grateful to receive, grateful to be able to share, right? So there's this message here saying that it is through the experiences in your life that you're connecting with that spiritual part of yourself. So the everyday experiences of your life, the practical, physical, we didn't mention it's a Taurus new moon this week, earth energy. The sun is in Taurus. So it's very practical, very earthbound, very 3D, very tangible, even though we didn't get a 1 of those pentacles cards here on the altar this week. So yes, taking the magic, taking the sparks and the inspiration and the creativity and making it manifest in our everyday. So this is about these experiences in your life that you're connecting with that spiritual part of yourself. Growth has come from the lessons that you have learned. You are a social butterfly, transforming others as well as yourself as you interact with those around you. You are a courageous being. Keep shining your light. Now, you may not consider yourself a social butterfly. I do not consider myself a social butterfly, but I can sure talk once I get started. So there's this introvert, extrovert energy there, which I think is very much like this sun, solar plexus, sunflower, central. I'm really feeling this sense of like worth and letting yourself shine, even if that's not something that you have always done in the past. Remember, we are weeding out and clearing out those things that are no longer serving in order to make room for the new to come in. So I feel like this Queen of Wands this week could really be encouraging us to just allow yourself to be seen a little bit in a position of leadership, of lighting the way forward. Maybe even being the first one to like put an idea out there or share something that you've created or that you are interested in creating. And this could lead into maybe partnerships and connections with others, with people whom we could co-create, in a very physical way. But it's coming from this like inspired place. So something that you've been inspired to bring forward, allowing yourself to do that now, coming in and allowing yourself to be seen and also heard. I'm feeling with this raven, I often say about crows or ravens, they know how to get your attention. You cannot ignore when they start calling, which to me is very connected in with the throat chakra, with communication, with expression. And that's just something that we're going to build on here. Like I said, as I'm recording this, it's the 5/5 portal. We have our Queen of the Moon card 5 coming in here with this message of change, but also freedom and expression, a bit of the rebel that comes in with the vibration of 5. And I definitely feel that with this queen like she's just bringing all that fire and all of that confidence and shining brightly. So that really feels like something that you would be best served to emanate this week when it comes to your interactions with others, with your creative projects, with your expression and what it is that you have to say and what it is that you wish to share. So let's go ahead and keep going, see what's coming in now for Tuesday for our potential block or challenge. Okay, Tuesday is bringing in a potential block or challenge this week, and we have the 2 of axes, the 2 of swords, which traditionally denotes some sort of a choice point or a crossroads. As we can see, the arms are crossed and we have these 2 axes or swords at this place of a perceived this way or that way. But because of that blindfold and the closed off arms that really are preventing one from seeing that there are actually multiple paths. It's not just one or the other, this or that, even though it can feel as though choices are limited or we're closed off in some way. But there's this notion that, and like I mentioned in the card pull, little Easter egg in these cards is that you can find the Fool from this deck kind of hidden within certain cards throughout the deck. And this is one of them where the Fool is actually making its way up and around the bend there, while we see the subject kind of stuck here in this place of indecision. And yet there's ships that have sailed, there's this path going up, a path going down, and also just right in front of them, which they're not able to see. It's interesting because, again, this is the day of the new moon in Taurus, the flower moon. And like I mentioned in the card pull, if you did get a chance to catch Stars and Cards with myself and Moonlight Soul last week, we tuned in to this new moon that's happening on this day. We did a card spread, and guess what came forward? The Two of Swords, just like this. This card came forward when we were tapping into the energies. Here, from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart, it's called Refusing to See. Isn't it brilliant? I mean, can you just geek out with me for a second? Here we have the energy of the Two of Swords and two different amazing creators and their interpretations of this card and the way that it can inform us about, you know, having greater insight into something that we are moving through on our Fool's journey. In this case, we're talking about a particular block or challenge here as a refusal to see, being closed off as if we are blindfolded, but actually, as we see the third eye in the center here, as we see this entire scene behind them, that the light is coming in that they're missing, because there's this refusal to see, actually there are more choices than meet the eye. So that being a block or challenge, you know, what is this Two of Axes coming in to tell us about this week? So this Two of Axes talks about what is ethically right and wrong. Which path will take you towards your highest mission? You are facing a hard decision. Seek clarity and weigh all options with each decision. There is something that you are missing that will help you to make your choice that much easier. What is your intuition telling you? And yeah, that's the guidance that's always safe to tap into, because anytime that I'm feeling twisted up, closed off, blocked, I can't see, I feel the tightness of limited options, that's my cue to go within. And like I said, that the third eye being present here is a nice way to envision, or even the idea of consciously blindfolding our eyes from what we see physically so that we can kind of, you know, withdraw from all that noise and go within and check internally what feels right. What do we get that instantaneous yes or no? And then sort of become aware of the ways in which we may talk ourselves into or out of things, which is the swords. The swords is the air element, and it represents our thoughts, our ideas, our beliefs, logic, the crown, you know, being in the head. And we will see, especially as we get further down our spread this week, that's not where it's at. It's in the heart. We're being encouraged regularly to drop into the heart, right? And to run things through that internal truth detector of the heart and the gut. So once again, kicking it off with this Queen of Wands with all this yellow sunflower, solar plexus, I am energy, and all of this cups, heart chakra energy. In the middle, blocked, challenged, is this Two of Axes, which is giving us this opportunity to open up and expand. So that's what I'm feeling here with this energy, is this wonderful opportunity for expansion. Now, I noticed that there is a rune here at the bottom, so we'll take a look at that. I believe this is going to be Isa or Isa. I'm sorry, you guys are just going to have to bear with my pronunciations till I flip to the book and see the correct pronunciation. Isa. Isa, the rune of ice. Water in its most mightiest of forms. Caution is warranted. Walk slowly forward. What in your life is frozen? Sometimes you need to freeze before you can grow. If you are feeling emotional, find stillness and clarity to see. Isn't that beautiful how that rune just merged the two worlds of the axes and the horns, of the swords and the cups? Because again, the head and the heart, coming together. If you're feeling emotional, or frozen could be a lack of emotion or indecision or clarity around how we're feeling, or you are feeling that. It's talking about just taking that pause before the growth, and allowing yourself to have stillness. And through the stillness comes the clarity. So that's really perfect, because we're going to touch on now, before we move into Wednesday, we're going to stop at the Queen of the Moon Oracle card for growth, so we can feel into the message that she's bringing to this crossroads of the Two of Axes. So let's go ahead and roll into our message from the Queen of the Moon. So here we are, tuning in for the new moon coming in on Tuesday, the 7th. And I'm coming to you from the 5/5 portal on May 5th. So the fact that we pulled card 5 from the Queen of the Moon Oracle is really underscoring the power of the frequency of change and transformation and transition that we find ourselves in at this time, at this crossroads, at this pivotal point. And knowing that there's a number of different frequencies that come along with that 5, including chaos, confusion, freedom, expansion, expression, rebel energy. There's so many different things in the 5 that speak to sort of revving up to this point of, a change has to happen. Like we're at this change point. And so the growth card comes in, and I always say about this card, and I've shared this before, I mentioned it in the card pull. This is a card I pulled for myself one lunation way back when, that gave me the final nudge to go for it and create, grow in the flow. And it's so hard to believe. I've had so many moments with this card, like even a year ago, probably like exactly a year ago, when I made the leap to do this sharecast, and just a few of you had come along with me as like a little pilot. We had this crazy thing happen where this one card fell out of the deck and landed in this precarious spot, like just kind of wedged between the drawer at my feet here at my desk, which was like this awesome validation for me of like, yes, be courageous and you will blossom when you make the choice to move, right? So we've got a couple of things going on here. We have the rune of movement that's come up for us this week. We have the Two of Axes here as this choice point pause, split in the road here for us to contemplate. And we have the growth card here in the nest, which is safe and secure and grounded and very firmly rooted here, as we see she is. But check out that pocket watch. It's time. Change is here. So we tune into this new moon and what's coming in, and the growth card presents itself here, and it says, reject stagnancy. And in order to get unstuck, take action. The choice to grow should be made at this time. Expect growing pains when you're making huge changes in your life. Change is a natural part of life and cannot be pushed against forever. Change should have aim and purpose. Be courageous. You will blossom. So the mantra here with that, which is, like I said, just one of my credos, thank you, Stacey DeMarco, I choose growth, right? It starts with a simple choice. I choose growth. And if I choose growth, then I sort of have that as that foundation from which I mull over every choice that I come up against. Does this choice promote growth, support growth, or does it stifle growth? Does it squelch growth? And using my inner detector, right, I can determine a yay or a nay on this choice as to whether or not it supports growth, right? So I love that because it helps to simplify something that we can have a real knack for overcomplicating. I'm putting my hand up. You can't see. And I shared from my chariot on Friday the beautiful words that came forward in my yoga class, that it is deceptively simple and deeply profound. So something that we can have a knack for overcomplicating and making really, really difficult and involved and all these things where we're so twisted up, arms crossed, eyes blindfolded. I can't see the forest for the trees. What do I do? Where do I go? What if I'm wrong? 1,000 hypothetical scenarios ensue. Can I streamline and simplify that into this simple notion? I choose growth. And the card says, think of a willow tree. Willows often grow on the sandy banks of highly shiftable and changeable rivers, and yet they reach huge sizes, successfully growing and holding fast in an unpredictable habitat. How do they do this, right? When you see a young willow on the banks for a long while, it just looks like a feeble stick. It may have a few branches and leaves, but at first the trunk will be fine and flexible, but rather robust. What we don't see immediately is the root base. The willow spends a lot of time establishing a veritable root city under the surface. These roots are long and strong and very numerous, finding their way into many nooks and crannies, holding onto rocks, other established tree roots, and anything that can help with their stability. These roots go off in all directions, thus securing their position just in case the earth begins to shift. Then and only then, once these root networks are established well enough, does the willow put its energy into further growth. I mean, this is so powerful. I'm going to go deeper into this. I could keep going because I'm feeling really inspired by what this is saying and how it's working with these cards, but I'm going to really dive into this in the new moon reading for the empowerment pack. So once again, if you want to continue to go deeper into connecting with this lunation, please join me for the new moon reading that's coming up this week. Like I said, at the end of our messages today, I'll share the link. It's a very special offer. I know many of you are already with me for the empowerment pack, so we are going to dive into this because this is so spot on to this notion of choice and being courageous to make a most aligned choice. And it weaves in beautifully with these balanced friendship and relationship and lean on me messages that we've been getting when it comes to this beautiful visualization of the root system. So this is just perfect, highlighting for us growth, but it's divinely timed growth. So I love how it really blends with this message of the Two of Axes talking about, and the rune, Isa, the ice, frozen, balance, frustration message, because all of those things, that's the frequency of the 5, the change, the chaos, the confusion, the frozen here in this period of transition where we may not have entire clarity yet, but the choices that I make now are being made based on the number one goal of establishing a strong root base to grow from. So we will definitely get into that deep in the new moon empowerment reading. Okay, so stay tuned for details on coming along for that. We are going to move now into Wednesday's card. All right, Wednesday brings us into a midweek blessing, and we have our other Lady of the Staves here coming in as the Shield Maiden of Staves, or the Knight of Wands. So just like our Queen of Wands, the Knight of Wands coming in with the fire, the sparks, the inspiration and creativity. And I love that wooden horse and this notion of what we're creating, what we're building. And this Shield Maiden of Staves brings in a lot of excitement, because that's what the Knight of Wands can really represent, like a lot of passion and fire and excitement, being charged up, ready to get into it, right? So this is talking about you having so much passion inside, and that you've been directing that energy into an adventure and inspired action. So perhaps this is already taking place for you or unfolding for you. This is some new inspiration that could be coming in through this new moon, or something to be aware of that you can tap into, because it's about not being able to sit still. So perhaps like a burst of energy, a burst of inspiration or motivation to move, right? We know that this 𝓙𝓸𝓲 is saying movement, right? Journey, movement, rhythm. And I love that, because another reference I have with the Knight of Wands from the another one of my soul decks, the Light Seers Tarot, is the drum of moving to the beat of your own drum, your own unique spark in the world. So the Knight of Wands is just all about living life to the fullest, learning along the way. Ignite that fire within and drive it into something tangible. There it is again. You use the sparks, the fire, the inspiration to create something of worth and value to you. So yes, I was going to say, we're seeing again, as I mentioned, the rune of Mehwaz, right? Let me just, once again, forgive my pronunciation. I don't know them, but I'm going to look to bring it in. Because it feels really connected to these really powerful messages that we're getting. Or am I adding the M to it that doesn't belong? I think I am. So therefore I'm looking for something with an M, and it's actually an E? Yes. Ehwaz. Because this looks like an M to me, I added it at the beginning. It's EHWAZ, Ehwaz. The rune of the horse, and signifies partnership, trust, loyalty, and working together. Relationships that you encounter should serve each person equally and in balance. Just in case we wanted another source to tell us the same message, this is also what flower therapy is telling us about balanced friendships. Your friendships work best when there's an equal share of giving and receiving. Well, looking at this beautiful horse, this wooden horse, we talk about this energy of balance in our relationships and with these things that we are co-creating together, and how we support each other, and the way that all of that is coming forward for us. So, serving each person equally and in balance. So if you are giving more than you are receiving, then balance must be restored. Two minds that hold equal respect for one another are greater than one. Be clear with your boundaries and setting limitations. Motion and change are ahead for you over unknown terrain. So you see, change is inevitable, right? We're being moved out of the comfort and the familiarity and the safety, the perceived safety of the nest. There is this growth and expansion beyond that, and the clock is ticking, right? It is time. And so this is a blessing. So the blessing is maybe getting some fresh ideas and inspiration on where you do want to go from here, and how you do want to express yourself uniquely in the world, your passion to the beat of your own drum, but also, getting clarity around those who you wish to play that beautiful music with, making this symphony and harmonizing with others who, again, just as diverse as all the flowers and plants in the garden, diverse as every instrument, that makes up the whole. So we have this opportunity to really be working on honing what we're creating, what we contribute, our contribution. So, really driving it into something tangible. You're willing to take risks to dive deeper into your spiritual growth and learning process. Experience life. So it's fiery, it's magnetic. It really feels like, again, you've got double passion happening here with the Queen and the Knight of Wands. That's really going to be about making your magic. And making magic, bringing it back to the magician, something that I like to say about that is the magician is all about having a willingness to use your tools, to hone your craft. And in so doing, there's an openness and acknowledgement that we could make mistakes, or we could make a choice that may lead down a road or a path that we find out didn't really work for us, or didn't resonate, or, for some reason we decide to take an alternative route based on what we learned from having had that experience. So it's actually a blessing, no matter what. So this midweek blessing is saying that by following your passion, by moving to the beat of your own unique drum, You can't go wrong. There's this added layer of a message here about your relationships and partnerships and people with whom you are co-creating to really check in those spiritual gardens and look for bringing in more balance. So that's all coming in as a thread of energy this week for you to tune into. Let's go ahead now and take a look at Thursday for how we are growing. Now, Thursday is about how we are growing this week, and we have a beautiful introduction to the suit of horns in this deck, the Ace of Horns. At the beginning, the first card of the horns or cups, here is the ace, this offering, this blessing that's coming in. And I love the rainbow on the other side of the rain. I'm just getting so much from this because even with the two ravens, two lotus, I feel very similar to like a two of cups or a two of horns, because there is this, again, notion of this duality, the two, whether it is partnership, whether it is two aspects of you, two roads to travel, this choice point, the duality, the light, the shadow, the masculine, the feminine, in whatever way, that's just kind of jumping out to me right out the gate, because this is a tremendous blessing. And the water, the rain, feels very cleansing and clarifying. Again, clarity was a word that I was really getting when I was tuning into May, that there was going to be a lot of clarity potentially around all of this energy that was churned up so strongly in April with all of the different aspects we've been talking about, and how, that this Uranus-Jupiter conjunction influence really coming forward through the lunation this week, this new moon in Taurus, about starting to see the blooms that have come from the muck, come from all that was churned up and brought out and brought to the surface. So Ace of Horns comes in here with how we're growing, talking about having abundant feelings of joy, happiness, and love that emanate from your inner being. And it's an awakening of senses and awareness. So it talks about you being connected to your subconscious and intuition, feeling deeply connected to the outside realms and energy from the gods. The universe surrounds you and you feel deeply connected to it. You feel the soft embrace of love and warm feelings of new beginnings and transformation. This can come to you in any number of forms. New love, friendships, relationships, and projects are all opening up for you now. So it's a really beautiful energy that comes in to offer a fresh beginning of any kind. So perfect this week with this new moon cycle starting in the sign of Taurus. So once again, the physical manifestation, things becoming manifest into the physical from this offering as if from nowhere. There's this hand that's reaching in with this cup of abundance. It's offered to you. But the key to that is you must take it. You have to take action. You have to step in the direction of the offering, the blessing, the gift that's coming in order to set that energetic intention into motion by taking action. Remember, that's what the growth card said. The growth card said that when you're feeling stagnant, when you're feeling stuck, take action, even if it's a small action. And, if you are struggling at all, to say that all of these big, bold, solar plexus ignited, I'm a leader, I'm inspired, I'm a people person, whatever all those things are, and you're thinking, that's not really me, or I'm not really sure, or I don't feel confident enough to really put this out there, feeling into the other side of this message, that if you are feeling overwhelmed with emotion, or you're having a lack of clarity, and perhaps feeling like you go into hiding in hopes that you keep those feelings concealed, right? That you may feel like crying, but instead you just keep it in. Keep in mind that crying and letting out emotions helps with your energy flow. So crying eliminates that energy from your physical body, which actually allows healing to occur and for new emotions to surface. So again, remember, in your spiritual garden, into every spiritual garden, a little rain must fall, right? So let those tears flow because you're moving it. Emotion, energy in motion. It must move. Stagnant energy is what settles into the body and manifests itself as illness and dis-ease in the body. So this is where we want to keep this cleansing, clearing flow going, so that if you aren't feeling all this sunshine, high vibe, motivation, energy, if you're feeling intense energy, but it's of a lower vibration or one that does bring us to tears or feeling some type of something welling up that needs to move, let it move, right? Let go of the fear of being emotional or getting hurt. No matter what, you are safe. But sometimes in life, when confusion sets in, the energy of the 5, emotions can take you this way and that way, right? It can be very tumultuous. So get centered and realign with who you are. Ask for help when needed. Allow your emotions to flow. That feels really aligned because, again, in these relationships, these friendships, these places where we have an opportunity to be sure that there's an equal flow of giving and receiving, do not be afraid to ask for help. Do not be afraid to allow yourself to be a little vulnerable in sharing your emotions or feelings, or, even just asking for someone to just sort of take a walk or do something out in nature that would help you maybe even shift your mind from something that's been very stagnant and very deeply rooted, that you actually could use a fresh, clean, cleansing perspective, So, I don't know. I'm feeling that. And also, like I said, it's raining here today. I think it's supposed to rain most of the week. And many of us have been, again, it's just, what else are we going to do but complain about the weather? Last week, I told you we were wanting to fast forward from complaining about it being too cold to complaining about it being too hot. And sure enough, we got our wish. Now it's raining constantly, and we're all just sort of grumbling about how dreary it is and how hard it is to get motivated. Well, as I'm speaking to you, my husband literally just took my dog for a walk. So that's telling me it's dreary and wet and kind of rainy out there, but he's moving it. He's still taking a walk. He's going out there. And that can actually be really cleansing and refreshing to take a walk in the rain. So I don't know. I'm just feeling compelled to share that because it feels really aligned with this card and the message that's coming through for anybody that is struggling or anybody that is feeling that heaviness. It's totally par for the course, all this energy we're moving through. So don't feel like if you're not over there plucking sunflowers and making magic and beating on your drum, that there's something wrong with you. You're helping to move us collectively through all of the multidimensionality of these experiences that we're having. How are you going to do that? You're going to reach for your tools and you're going to do it from the highest vibration possible, the highest expression of this lower vibrational emotion or whatever it is. It serves. So there's this opportunity for us to bring this cleansing, clearing, and balance in there. So that is how we can grow together. Beautiful. All right, let's finish things off with Friday coming right up. All right, our final card for this week is the 9 of Horns. This is the 9 of Cups, the card of wishes coming true. But I think it's really special that it pictures 2 people at a table together, because it's really highlighting for me this energy of friendship, partnership, and the ways in which we can support each other as we collectively move through all that is unfolding at this time. So this 9 of Horns is really bringing in blessings and abundance, because 9 is almost to completion, almost coming into fruition. And we have this time to give thanks for all the blessings that we've received in our life thus far. And when we do that, when we acknowledge those things, when we sort of take stock on all those things, again, we're making room for more blessings to enter. So it suggests using visualization and affirmations to manifest all that you desire, to make a wish and see the results of your hard work come true. Blessings are all around you. You have everything that you desire. Joy, happiness, and magic surround you now. Again, it's easy to slip into our logical mind, or maybe even a cynical energy that says, no, I don't have this, I don't have that, this went wrong, this, that, the other. We can always choose to look at these horns as being half empty or half full. right? And it's all about perspective. And again, maybe some acknowledging how we can help each other to mirror that back and forth, reflecting and projecting to each other through our relationships. So again, that doesn't always present itself as sunshine and rainbows. So if we are moving through particularly challenging relationship dynamics right now, take a look at that person or that situation or that circumstance afresh through a different lens of gratitude. If I was seeking out the blessings from this situation like it was my job, what would I be finding in this? You know? And I love that there's this bag of something on the table that's there and it's filled with contents that we have this opportunity to really take stock in. Once again, taking a look at, is this thing, relationship, circumstance, activity, energy, way that I'm using my energy, whatever it is in my spiritual bank account, is this helping me grow or no? And using that as a determining factor when it comes to what gets to stay on the table and what I am releasing. So this is a great week to really think about all of those blessings and all of that abundance and be very conscientious about these things that we wish for in our life and as if we already have them. And it goes on further because we have the rune here pictured on the card. This is the rune Wunyo. And this is the rune of joy and bliss as a state of being, rather than a moment-to-moment happiness. I love that because you know what? In this moment, I might not be all that happy. I might not be feeling all that jazzed about something. However, I view joy and bliss as a state of being that I can shift into and out of, regardless of my moment-to-moment happiness, right? That there's a healing energy with this rune, a long-lasting state of fulfillment. Success and prosperity is yours. It speaks of spiritual ecstasy. Ignite your inner child and allow them to find joy. Be childish. Give to see the joy in others. Good news is on the horizon. I love it. And this is also known as the wishing rune. I absolutely love that we got our inner child reference because, as most of you know, if you've been following along with our weekly messages, that the entire month of April we received the Six of Cups, or a message of the Six of Cups, of connecting in with our inner child, of accessing joy through play and expression and so much more. So here it is again, sort of underscoring this message of, through that childlike wonder and play, and again, beat of your own drum, what lights you up, what inspires you, and trusting that that will in turn inspire others, that you can emerge as a leader who is able to bring forward what is possible when it comes to approaching things in this way in order to experience learning, growth, healing, and expansion as we move through on our fool's journeys. So I love that this is rounding out our week. It's the wish card. It's the wishing rune. It's all of this abundance happening here. There's apples, there's roses, there's cups overflowing. There's a really beautiful blessing energy here. So it doesn't get much better than that. So like I said, May all across, I've been saying it just has like a lovely feel to it when it comes to the clarity and the growth that is available to us, but it's going to be all about perspective. In fact, just to mention again, if we were to tune into the flip side, if we're not over here toasting and celebrating or feeling all that celebratory, right? What does the Nine of Horns have to say about that? It asks, are you looking at the glass as half empty? When you only see the darker sides of situations, you end up missing the bigger picture. Whatever is in your life, you have manifested for your highest good and for your own inner learning. See the positive in everything that surrounds you so that you can attract more of what you want and not what you don't want. This is what we're saying, taking that stock, taking that inventory in your spiritual garden. And it gives us a whole new take on this balanced friendship. Because this could be about the relationship between you, your ego self, and your higher self. your inner child and your conscious self here, you know, as you are today, and the relationship dynamic between you, so that there's this essence of, which version of me is coming to the table with the highest perspective of this situation, this circumstance, this intention, whatever it is, because that's what we want to align with, because that is what is truly manifesting the reality that we see in front of us. So the more that we can tune in to the highest available expression, the bigger and bolder all of the blooms will be in our spiritual garden, because it nourishes and nurtures all. You know, and it inspires those lower vibrational aspects to come along, to grow up, to glow up, you know, to that highest available. Now, free will, choice, and all that doesn't mean, especially if you're talking about other people and relationships with others. So whether you're looking at this as an aspect of yourself or other people, as a leader, you're holding the vibration of what's possible. But that everyone has their free will choice, right? So therein lies opportunity for us to grow or not. And we focus on our own blossoming, our own blooming anyway, and sharing that there's room for all and it's possible for all. So it just feels like another layer of the message and way that it can show up, especially if you're encountering a doom gloom type energy, or a naysayer, or someone who I've referred to before as happily miserable, you know, very fixed in their focus on what their reality is, and not open to, brings us full circle to that challenge, refusing to see, right? And that in and of itself is a prerogative. But as for me, I choose to bloom. I choose growth, which is the mantra for this card, which brings us full circle. So thank you so much for coming along this week. Once again, if you would like a personal card pull for this week, please let me know. You can quick reply here on Marco Polo, or you can send me a message in any way that works for you. I will be working on those card pulls in between the comprehensive reading that I'll be doing for the new moon, which once again, you are all invited to join me for. So please let me know if you would like to get in on that. I will be setting up the altar space and bringing in all of the elements to tune in for that reading here at the top of the week. So thank you all so much for being here. I'm sending you much love and many new moon blessings. We shall talk soon. Take good care.